14th Street Union Square is a New York City subway station complex shared by the BMT Broadway Line, the BMT Canarsie Line and the IRT Lexington Avenue Line. It is located at the intersection of 4th Avenue and 14th Street, underneath Union Square in Manhattan, and is served by the 4, 6, L, N, and Q trains at all times, 5 and R trains at all times except late nights, and LT, 6 and GT train weekdays in the peak direction. In 2014, 35,677,468 passengers entered this station, making it the fourth busiest station of the New York City subway. The complex is located on the border of several neighborhoods with popular business, residential and nightlife destination spots, including the East Village to the southeast, Greenwich Village to the south and southwest, Chelsea to the northwest, and both the Flatiron District and Gramercy Park to the north and northeast. There are 3 originally separate stations here, which were combined sometime after unification of the subways in 1940. They now share a mezzanine, common entrance points, and unified signage. This complex was placed on the National Register of Historic Places in 2005. Station layout: IRT Lexington Avenue Line platforms. 14th Street Union Square, opened on October 27, 1904, is an express station on the IRT Lexington Avenue Line that has 4 tracks and 2 island platforms. The uptown and downtown platforms are offset from each other and slightly curved. Gap-filling movable platforms on the downtown side are automatically operated via proximity sensors when trains arrive. The station's mezzanines are located over the platforms. The station has 2 abandoned local side platforms. The northbound one is visible through windows boarded with wide, bright red frames. For the north end of the downtown platform's mezzanine, the adjacent side platform can be seen through a hole in the plywood. 1991 accident. On August 28, 1991, an accident just north of the station killed 5 riders and injured 215 others in one of the worst wrecks since a crash at Times Square 42nd Street on the IRT Broadway 7th Avenue Line in 1928 that killed 16 people. The train operator, Robert Ray, was intoxicated and had been overshooting platforms during the entire run from Woodlawn in the Bronx. Just north of the station, his Utica Avenue-bound 4 train was to be shifted to the local track due to repair work on the Express 1. He was running at 40 miles per hour at a 10 miles per hour zone and took the switch so fast that only the first car made it through the crossover. The rest of the train was involved in a derailment that led to a massive pile-up. Cars 1435, 1436, 1437, 1439, and 1440 were essentially scrapped on the site, and the IRT Lexington line suffered heavy structural damage as a result. Service was disrupted for 6 days as transit workers cleaned up the wreckage. The entire infrastructure, including signals, switches, track, roadbed, cabling, and 23 support columns needed to be replaced. Ray was convicted of manslaughter and sentenced to 15 years in prison, but released in April 2002 for good behavior. The wreck occurred at the entry to a former pocket track, like 72nd Street on the IRT Broadway 7th Avenue Line. This station was built with extra tracks on the approach to the station. These were between the local and express tracks and approximately 300 feet long. The idea was to have a stacking track where a train could be held momentarily until the platform cleared for it to enter the station. The tracks here and at 72nd Street were rendered useless when train lengths grew beyond these tracks' capacity. When the damage from the 1991 wreck was repaired, the stacking track was removed. Image gallery. BMT Broadway Line platforms. 14th Street Union Square, opened on September 5, 1917, is an express station on the BMT Broadway Line that has 4 tracks and 2 island platforms. It is the southernmost station in Manhattan with a cross-platform interchange between all 3 Broadway services. A mosaic on the platform side walls is a depiction of the junction of Broadway and Bowery Road, 1828, as the area was once known. The mezzanine and crossover level has been reconstructed as well. Some former passageways and stairways have been closed off, including one immediately adjacent to the southernmost staircase on the northbound side. This station was overhauled in the late 1970s. The MTA replaced the original wall tiles, old signs, and incandescent lighting with the 1970s wall tile band and tablet mosaics, signs and fluorescent lights. They also fixed staircases and platform edges. In 2002, the station was upgraded for aider accessibility and its original late 1910s tiling was restored. As part of the upgrade, the MTA repaired the staircases, retiled for the walls and floors, upgraded the station's lights and the public address system, installed yellow safety treads along the platform edge, new signs, and new trackbeds in both directions. The station now has an elevator on both platforms as well as connection to the station entrances and passageway to the IRT Lexington Avenue Line. In 2005, an artwork called City Glow by Chihiro Oshima was installed here. Image gallery. BMT Canarsie Line platform. Union Square on the BMT Canarsie Line opened on June 30, 1924, as part of the 14th Street Eastern Line, which ran from 6th Avenue under the East River and through Williamsburg to Montrose Avenue and Bushwick Avenues. The station has 2 tracks and 1 island platform with numerous stairways and exits leading from it. There is 1 mezzanine attached to the station with entrances on the south side of 14th Street between Broadway and University Place. Other entrances in the complex serve the other services that stop here. The original mosaic band of sky blue, sea green, lime green and yellow ochre stands clearly visible above new green bordered tile panels. The station has been renovated and is now aider accessible with a single elevator going up from the platform to the mezzanine.